Your liver could be silently inflamed, and you wouldn't feel a thing. One by one, your daily habits may be pushing it to the edge. But there's a natural way to change that, and today, you're going to discover it. Have you ever considered that your liver might be struggling right now, quietly, invisibly, without you noticing any clear symptoms? It's an unsettling thought, but it's far more common than you might think. The liver, unlike many organs, often suffers in silence. It doesn't scream for help with sharp pain or sudden signals. Instead, it whispers through subtle signs like constant fatigue, difficulty concentrating, mild bloating, or a general sense of sluggishness. These are clues, often dismissed, that your body is working overtime to manage something serious. Inflammation in one of its most vital organs. Your liver is not just another organ. It's your internal powerhouse. It detoxifies everything you consume, from the food you eat to the air you breathe. It processes medications, breaks down fats, stores essential nutrients, and filters your blood non-stop. Over 500 functions depend on it. And yet, in our modern lifestyles, we unknowingly bombard it with substances that wear it down. In North America, many habits considered normal are slowly contributing to liver stress. Regular fast food meals loaded with processed oils, sugar-sweetened beverages like sodas or energy drinks, even medications we reach for at the slightest headache, these are all part of the silent overload. And it doesn't stop there. Add in alcohol from weekend gatherings, lack of sleep, and the stress of daily life, and we're looking at a perfect storm brewing quietly inside. But here's something most people don't realize. Even if you feel fine, liver inflammation could already be developing. And when left unchecked, it doesn't just stay hidden, it progresses. Inflammation is the liver's distress signal. If ignored, it can pave the way for more serious issues down the road. Now don't panic. This isn't a doomsday warning, it's a wake-up call. The good news is that the liver is incredibly resilient. It can regenerate, heal, and thrive when given the right tools. And that's exactly what we'll explore here. Safe, natural ways to support your liver health and reduce inflammation, starting with a simple but powerful infusion. But before we get there, let me share something important. The natural remedy you'll learn in this video is not just about mixing a few herbs and boiling water. There's a very specific way to prepare it. A small mistake in temperature, proportion, or even the timing of when ingredients are added can significantly affect its potency, and in some cases, even cause unwanted side effects. That's why it's essential to stay with me until the end. And because you're taking this step to care for your health, I want to reward that commitment. At the end of this video, I'll reveal a powerful bonus tip, something simple, natural, and often overlooked that can enhance the effects of the infusion by up to 3 times. It's something most people never think to combine, yet when used correctly, it can make all the difference. This is more than just about the liver. It's about energy, vitality, clearer skin, better digestion, a sharper mind. You'd be amazed at how many seemingly unrelated issues are linked to liver function. That foggy brain in the morning, that heavy feeling after eating, even stubborn skin blemishes can trace back to how well or how poorly your liver is functioning. Taking action now means preventing complications later. But it's not just about fear. It's about empowerment. Imagine waking up feeling light, energized, and mentally clear simply because your liver is no longer burdened. That vision starts with awareness, and awareness begins here. And while this may feel like a small step, it's actually one of the most important ones you can take. Ignoring it doesn't just delay your progress, it could quietly allow deeper problems to take root. Inflammation doesn't wait, but thankfully, neither do natural solutions. In a moment, you'll discover what's silently triggering liver inflammation in your daily life. And understanding that is the next essential step. Because if you don't know what's causing the fire, how can you put it out? So keep watching. What you'll learn next could be the key to not only better liver health, but a better quality of life. And let me be clear, the next tip isn't just useful, it might be the most critical one of all. Ignoring it won't just slow your results, it could also lead to reactions you weren't expecting. Stay with me. Now that you understand how critical the liver is and how silently it can suffer, It's time to uncover the hidden culprits that are feeding this inflammation day after day, often right under our noses. You may be surprised to learn that it's not just the obvious toxins or alcohol that contribute to liver damage. In fact, some of the most common everyday habits and foods, especially those considered harmless or even healthy, are quietly contributing to liver stress. Let's start with sugar, specifically high fructose corn syrup. Common in sodas, fruit-flavored drinks, breakfast cereals, and even so-called fitness bars, this sweetener has become a staple in the American diet. What most people don't know is that fructose is metabolized almost entirely by the liver. Unlike glucose, which your body uses immediately, fructose goes straight to the liver and in excess turns into fat. This buildup of fat within the liver is one of the leading drivers of a condition known as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or NAFLD, a silent epidemic in modern society. And what about processed foods? From microwave meals to frozen pizzas and snack cakes, these items are not only high in sodium and trans fats, but also loaded with preservatives and additives that burden the liver. The body sees these chemicals as foreign invaders and sends them to the liver for detoxification. Over time, this relentless assault can spark chronic inflammation. Surprisingly, even foods marketed as healthy can contribute to liver strain. Some protein powders and supplements contain sugar alcohols, artificial flavors, and synthetic compounds that the liver has to work overtime to process. And it doesn't end there. Medications like acetaminophen, often taken for headaches, colds, or minor aches, can become toxic to the liver when used frequently or in higher doses than recommended. The danger lies in repetition. One dose may be fine, but when combined with a diet high in processed foods and chronic stress, the cumulative effect is what triggers the inflammation. And here's something truly surprising. Stress, especially when chronic, can also contribute. When you're under constant pressure, mentally, emotionally, or physically, your body releases more cortisol. Elevated cortisol can affect everything from your immune system to your digestion, and yes, your liver. The stress hormones circulating in your system change the way your liver metabolizes nutrients and toxins. Over time, this contributes to dysfunction and inflammation. Now imagine this. You start your day with a sugary coffee drink, maybe skip breakfast, grab something quick and processed for lunch, pop a couple of over-the-counter painkillers in the afternoon, and unwind with a glass of wine or two at night. Sounds familiar? None of these habits alone seem extreme. But when repeated daily, they create a slow, steady burden that your liver has no choice but to manage. And yet, many people still wonder why they feel tired all the time, why they can't lose weight, or why their skin looks dull. It's not just age or bad luck. In many cases, it's the liver sending signals, subtle but persistent. The good news? Once you know the sources of inflammation, you can change the pattern. Awareness allows you to make simple swaps that have a massive impact. For example, reducing sugary drinks and opting for water with lemon, replacing processed snacks with whole fruits or nuts, and using anti-inflammatory herbs in your meals. Even better, you can begin supporting your liver today, not with extreme detoxes or expensive supplements, but with nature's own remedies. Plants have been used for centuries to aid liver function, but the secret lies in choosing the right combination, in the right way. Now, with these silent triggers exposed, you're better prepared to make real changes. But knowing what causes the problem is only half of the equation. The next essential step is to discover what nature has given us to fight back, safely and effectively. Because if you don't know what helps reverse inflammation, how can you begin to heal? And this is where things get really interesting. The natural infusion I'll show you next is built on powerful ingredients validated by both tradition and emerging science. And here's the catch. If you skip the next tip, you might miss the key element that activates their full potential. The next step is not just helpful, it could be the most impactful one so far. Overlooking it may not only delay your progress, but also reduce the safety and effectiveness of the entire remedy. You'll want to get this part right. Once you begin to understand how deeply everyday habits can affect your liver, a natural question emerges. What can actually help? And more importantly, what can help safely, gently, and effectively? That's where nature comes in, not as a miracle solution, but as a powerful partner in restoring balance. For centuries, plants and herbs have been used to support liver health across cultures. And now, modern science is beginning to validate what traditional wisdom has long known. Certain compounds in herbs have specific actions that reduce inflammation, support detoxification, and help regenerate liver tissue. But not all herbs are created equal. Today, let's focus on 3 of the most promising: dandelion root, milk thistle seeds, and turmeric. Dandelion root may seem like just a common weed to some, but it's a plant with incredible benefits. It acts as a gentle diuretic, helping the body eliminate excess water and toxins through the kidneys. This eases the burden on the liver. More than that, dandelion root stimulates bile production, which is essential for digestion and for flushing fats and waste products out of the liver. A liver that produces and moves bile efficiently is a liver that stays clean. Then there's milk thistle, known scientifically as Silybum marianum. The active compound in milk thistle is called silymarin, and it's been extensively studied for its protective effects on the liver. Silymarin is a strong antioxidant that stabilizes liver cell membranes and supports regeneration. It doesn't just protect the liver from toxins, it also helps damaged cells repair. That's an extraordinary function for a simple seed. Turmeric, a golden yellow spice most often associated with curry dishes, contains curcumin, one of the most researched natural anti-inflammatory agents. Curcumin has been shown to inhibit inflammation pathways and support liver detox enzymes. It also plays a role in reducing oxidative stress in liver tissues, which is especially important in preventing long-term damage. These 3 ingredients work synergistically when used correctly. Think of them as a trio that tackles liver inflammation from different angles: dandelion to cleanse, milk thistle to repair, and turmeric to calm and protect. The beauty of this combination is that it supports the liver without harshness. Unlike aggressive detoxes or commercial cleanses that can overwhelm the body, this infusion works gradually, aligning with your body's natural rhythm. But here's the crucial part: preparation matters. Each of these plants has compounds that are sensitive to heat, timing, and the environment in which they're extracted. You can't just toss everything in boiling water and hope for the best. That's why understanding how to combine them in a way that preserves their benefits is key. We'll go over that soon. Another point that often gets overlooked is quality. The effectiveness of an infusion depends heavily on the freshness and purity of the ingredients. Choose organic when possible. Avoid products with additives or fillers. The goal here is to help your liver, not introduce more work for it. And what about results? While this is not a quick fix, many people report noticeable improvements in digestion, energy, skin clarity, and even mood after consistently using the infusion. That's because the liver touches every system in the body. When it's functioning well, everything else seems to align better, from your immune response to your mental clarity. And still, despite all these benefits, this infusion is only as good as its preparation. Getting the process wrong can reduce its effectiveness, or worse, create discomfort if not done properly. Certain compounds, especially in turmeric, can become unstable when boiled too long. Dandelion root needs enough heat to release its bitter compounds, but not so much that it becomes harsh. Milk thistle seed, being harder, needs a proper method to unlock its silymarin content. This isn't about perfection, it's about precision. The right ratios, the right temperature, the right order of infusion. That's what separates a helpful remedy from an ineffective tea. You now know the ingredients, but don't rush into making it just yet. The full benefits only come when you prepare it properly. And there's one more step we need to talk about, something most people get wrong, which may be the reason they don't see results even after trying these herbs. So before you pick up your kettle or reach into your pantry, make sure to hear what comes next. Because the next step might seem small, but it's one of the most important details of all. Ignoring it won't just weaken your results, it could even introduce unwanted effects that you were trying to avoid in the first place. And I want to make sure that doesn't happen. At this point, you've learned which natural ingredients can truly support the liver and why they work. But here's a truth that's often missed. The success of any natural remedy doesn't depend only on what you use, but how you use it. And that's where most people go wrong. One of the biggest mistakes is treating herbal remedies like instant solutions. People rush the process, thinking all they need to do is steep some herbs in hot water and drink it down. But natural medicine is not fast food. It requires care and knowledge. In fact, when it comes to liver health, rushing or misusing ingredients can actually lead to more harm than good. Let's start with turmeric. It's one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory roots available, but its main compound, curcumin, is highly sensitive to heat. If you boil turmeric for too long or at too high a temperature, the curcumin can degrade, significantly reducing its potency. Additionally, curcumin is not easily absorbed by the body. Without a compound like piperine, found in black pepper, its effectiveness can drop by over 90%. That's why so many people take turmeric regularly and see little to no result. It's not that turmeric doesn't work, it's that it's not being used correctly. Then there's milk thistle. The seeds are tough and contain silymarin, the liver protective compound we talked about. But here's the challenge: silymarin is not easily water-soluble, which means that simply steeping the seeds like tea won't extract much of the beneficial compound. To truly benefit from milk thistle, the seeds need to be crushed or ground just before infusion. Without this step, you might be drinking flavored water, not an actual remedy. Dandelion root brings another issue. While it's less sensitive to temperature than turmeric, it does require proper brewing time. If you don't simmer it long enough, its key bitter compounds, essential for stimulating bile flow, won't be fully released. But boil it too aggressively, and you'll lose some of its gentleness, making it hard on the stomach for some people. Finding that balance is what makes all the difference. Another mistake is overloading the infusion. It's tempting to think that if a little is good, more must be better. But with liver support, that logic doesn't hold. The liver is a precise organ. Overloading it, even with good things, can backfire. Too strong an infusion can overwhelm your digestion, cause nausea, or even fatigue. It's all about the right dose at the right pace. The next common error is sweetening the infusion with refined sugar or artificial sweeteners. The goal here is to reduce inflammation and support detoxification. Yet some people undo all of that by adding ingredients that fuel the very issues they're trying to heal. If you need to soften the taste, opt for a touch of raw honey or simply allow your palate to adapt over time. It's often bitterness that signals the presence of liver-supportive compounds. Even the timing of when you drink the infusion matters. Taking it on an empty stomach can sometimes cause irritation, especially for those sensitive to bitter herbs. But consuming it right after a heavy meal might dull its effects. The best time is often mid-morning or early afternoon, when your digestion is active but not overloaded. And here's something most people never consider: combining the infusion with certain medications. Some herbs can interact with drugs processed by the liver. That's why it's crucial to consult a healthcare professional if you're on regular medication. Natural doesn't always mean harmless, especially when it comes to liver metabolism. To use natural remedies effectively, precision and patience matter. Treat this process with the same respect you would give a prescription, because that's how nature works, gently but powerfully when used right. Now imagine spending days preparing an infusion with the right herbs but using the wrong methods. The time, the effort, the ingredients, all wasted. Or worse, used in a way that leads to unexpected side effects like bloating, headaches, or digestive discomfort. That's why this step, understanding what not to do, is just as important as knowing what to do. But here's the good news. Once you understand these pitfalls, you can easily avoid them. And when you do, you unlock the full potential of these herbs. Your body begins to respond. You feel lighter, more energized, more in tune. But none of this matters if you miss the final piece: how to prepare the infusion the right way. The exact method, the proportions, the order. That's where everything comes together. And that's what you'll discover next. This next step is not optional, it's essential. Missing it won't just hold back your progress. It could result in the exact opposite of what you're trying to achieve. So don't skip it. Now that you know what mistakes to avoid and how precision makes all the difference, let's talk about what happens when everything is done right. This is where things begin to shift, not just in theory, but in real, visible, and tangible ways. When people approach this natural infusion with intention, consistency, and care, the results can be deeply encouraging. Take Marlene, for example. In her early 50s, she had struggled for years with constant fatigue, indigestion, and skin flare-ups that no cream seemed to fix. Her lab results started to show elevated liver enzymes, and her doctor advised watching her diet more carefully. Instead of just waiting, she took action. She adjusted a few daily habits and began using the infusion we've discussed, carefully prepared the right way. Within weeks, she noticed subtle changes: better digestion, less bloating, more energy in the mornings. After 2 months, her follow-up tests showed a significant improvement. The infusion didn't replace her medical care, it enhanced it. Then there's Greg, a software engineer in his late 30s, who led a high-stress life fueled by energy drinks and little sleep. He wasn't in pain, but he felt off, foggy, unmotivated, constantly bloated. He never imagined his liver could be part of the problem until a friend shared this natural remedy. Skeptical but curious, Greg gave it a try. He committed to drinking the infusion 4 times a week without sugar and combined it with a few dietary changes. In less than a month, he noticed clearer thinking and more regular digestion. Small adjustments made a big difference. For the first time in years, he felt like he had his energy back. These stories are not medical claims, they're human experiences, and they reflect something powerful. When the body is given what it needs, it responds. The liver is especially grateful. Unlike many organs, it has a unique capacity to regenerate and recover. That means even if you've made mistakes in the past, even if your lifestyle hasn't been perfect, there's still time to turn things around. What's even more inspiring is that the benefits don't stop at the liver. As liver function improves, so does the health of your skin, your brain, your metabolism. Inflammation calms. Digestion flows better. Sleep becomes more restorative. Many people describe a sense of lightness, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. One reason for this is how interconnected the liver is with your mood. When the liver is inflamed or sluggish, it affects the way your body processes hormones and toxins, both of which play a major role in how you feel. By helping the liver function better, you're not just improving physical health, you're nurturing emotional balance. And here's a detail that shouldn't be overlooked. Many of the people who experience these benefits didn't make drastic changes. They didn't go on extreme diets or eliminate entire food groups. They simply began treating their body with more respect, listening to its signals, nourishing it intentionally, and honoring the natural pace of healing. These transformations began with small steps, switching from sugary drinks to herbal infusions, avoiding late-night heavy meals, choosing whole foods over processed snacks. And each of those small decisions created momentum. That's how sustainable change happens. Not through guilt or punishment, but through empowerment and clarity. So if you've been feeling stuck, tired, or disconnected from your body, let these stories remind you that it's never too late. Your liver is always working for you, even when you're not aware of it. And when you give it the right support, it thanks you in ways that ripple throughout your entire system. But here's the key. None of this happens by accident. The people who felt real improvements followed the method correctly. They prepared the infusion the right way. They respected the process, and they listened to their bodies. Now you're just one step away from doing the same. The next piece of the puzzle is the most practical and essential one: the exact way to prepare the infusion. Because all the knowledge in the world won't help if the method is off. And make no mistake, this step is not just a detail. It's the foundation that holds the entire practice together. Get it right, and the path to better liver health opens up. Get it wrong, and you may end up frustrated, discouraged, or worse, creating effects that push your body in the opposite direction. You don't want to miss this. This is the moment where everything comes together. You've understood the causes of liver inflammation, explored the natural ingredients that can support healing, and learned the common mistakes that keep people from getting real results. Now it's time to unlock the final step: how to prepare the infusion correctly. Let's begin with the ingredients. Each one has a distinct role to play, and when combined properly, they create a synergy that supports the liver in a gentle yet effective way. 1 teaspoon of dried dandelion root, 1 teaspoon of crushed milk, Thistle seeds half a teaspoon of ground turmeric, a pinch of black pepper to aid in curcumin absorption. Optional, a few drops of fresh lemon juice added at the end. The process begins with boiling the dandelion root and milk thistle seeds. In a small pot, bring about 2 cups of filtered water to a boil. Once boiling, add the dandelion root and crushed milk thistle. Lower the heat and let it simmer gently for 5 to 7 minutes. This step allows the root and seeds to release their active compounds without being damaged by excessive heat. After simmering, remove the pot from the heat. This is the moment to add the turmeric and black pepper. Remember, curcumin is heat sensitive. Boiling it directly would reduce its potency. By adding it off the heat, you allow the spice to infuse slowly, preserving its benefits. Let the mixture steep with the lid on for another 10 minutes. Strain the liquid into your cup. Now, if desired, add a few drops of fresh lemon juice, not just for taste, but because the acidity helps preserve certain antioxidant properties and supports digestion. The final result is an infusion that's earthy, slightly bitter, and deeply nourishing. It's best to drink this infusion warm, ideally in the mid-morning or early afternoon, when your body is naturally active but not overloaded with food. Avoid consuming it late at night or on an empty stomach if you're sensitive to bitter herbs. Consistency is key. Don't expect immediate transformation from a single cup. But taken regularly, about 3 to 4 times per week, this infusion can support the liver's natural detoxification pathways, ease inflammation, and contribute to a sense of balance and vitality. Now let's talk briefly about what not to do. Do not reuse the same herbs for multiple infusions. Their potency diminishes after the first steep. Don't sweeten it with sugar or artificial ingredients. That would contradict its purpose. And don't skip or substitute the black pepper. That tiny addition is what makes turmeric truly bioavailable. This is a ritual of care, not a quick fix. Each time you prepare it, think of it as a quiet act of respect for your body. You're telling your liver, I see you, I support you, I'm giving you what you need to do your job better. And the benefits won't always shout. They might begin as subtle shifts: clearer skin, lighter digestion, less mental fog. Over time, they build into something greater, a feeling of lightness, resilience, and alignment that only comes when your inner systems are working in harmony. Now, as promised, there's one more secret to take this infusion even further. It's incredibly simple and often overlooked. Once the drink is ready, before sipping it, take a moment to inhale the aroma deeply. This isn't just for relaxation. Studies have shown that engaging your senses, especially smell, can activate digestive enzymes and prime your body to absorb nutrients more effectively. It's a small ritual, but it sends a powerful signal to your body. Nourishment is coming. So as you take that first sip, breathe deeply, sip slowly, and trust the process. The infusion is more than a drink. It's a bridge between where you are and where you want to be in your health. If you found value in this journey, don't keep it to yourself. Share this with someone who needs it. Let's keep building a community where health is rooted in knowledge, tradition, and conscious action. And if you haven't already, subscribe and stay connected, because this is only the beginning.